They go, say they go 5 hours before voiding again. That second void is going to somewhat reflect the drug level in that person's body for the time between the two voids.
Yes, as well as the previous use, yes.
Well, there's contamination from prior and what's still there, correct?
Correct. I wouldn't call it contamination, but I would call it continual elimination.
Now, if we go from, say, 7:30, we got a void at 7:30, then we got another void shortly after death. Say, let's use hypothetically 12. That autopsy urine is pretty much going to be an average, a level between 7:30 and 12, isn't it?
I guess I'm having troubles with your question of average concentration. I mean, the concentration is what it is, and I'm not understanding this line of questioning in regards to.
Well,
I'm having troubles following. So
let me explain it this way: if you void at 7:30, and say you've basically eliminated, 95, 99% of the urine that's in your body, the urine that is accumulated after that is in equilibrium with the system during the period of time that it accumulates, isn't it?
I don't understand the question. I'll sustain.
Okay.
I think you're going to have to re-ask it, please.
Okay, let's assume you get a couple drops at 8, a couple drops at 8:30, a couple drops at 9. All these drops, when they add it up, they're kind of an average of what for over the period of time that you've accumulated it, isn't it?
Objection vague. Drops of what?
I think the
We're talking
characterization-
about urine.
Well, just a moment, please. I think the issue of drops and averages is vague and ambiguous. Re-ask, please.
The person voids at 7:30, doesn't void again, and then gives a urine sample, which we've got approximately 500 cc's. That pretty much reflects what was accumulated in the bladder between 7:30 and time of death, doesn't it?
if you assume you're hypothetically voided and cleared out his bladder at 7:30, so 7:30 to time of death, yes, that autopsy urine that was collected is reflective of his last void to current time, yes.
Okay. And that urine would be in equilibrium with his blood, wouldn't it?
No.
Isn't there a ratio between urine and blood?
Sure there is, but I think you're kind of going out of the scope of my expertise.
Okay. So, based upon these urine test results of the seen urine and the urine accumulated at autopsy, you have no idea when that person would have had the higher midazolam level in his blood.
Just from the urine results, no, I would not.
And would it be accurate that you can't tell that on the urine results from the scene versus the urine at autopsy for propofol also?
That's correct.
So urine testing means nothing.
Urine testing basically is a reflection or a history of accumulated drug in there.
Okay, but it means nothing in your overall analysis.
Well, it has certain meaning to it, but an actual quantitative meaning is a little sketchy.
You didn't analyze the gastric contents for midazolam either, did you?
Correct.
And you didn't analyze for lorazepam.
Correct.
Now, midazolam, that doesn't come in oral form, does it?
No, it's injectable only.
Okay, and you did an analysis of the, I'm putting on Exhibit 170. You did an analysis of the IV that was found on the, is that the IV that was found on the pole?
I think that was described to me as that. It was the IV assembly.
Okay, is it that IV line there?
In people's,
Is that what's analyzed in, is that what the Exhibit 170 is designed to depict?
Objection. He didn't respond to the scene. We'd stipulate, Your Honor.
yeah, I don't think the witness knows what may be depicted in a particular photograph. If counsel want to stipulate,
I
that's
think
fine.
the record's already clear. It's already been testified to what that item is and that it was booked into evidence. So
Okay.
All right, in what exhibit, please? Because we got a photo, that's not,
We got a photo here. I'm marking a new one, HH.
okay, photograph hotel.
Now, that is that called medical evidence 2 in your analytical findings?
Yes, it is.
And your analytical findings mean that in this saline bag here, there was no propofol whatsoever.
That's correct.
And in the tubing leading down to the Y port, there was no propofol whatsoever.
That's correct.
Did you analyze it for lidocaine?
Yes.
And there was no lidocaine either.
Correct.
The only place you found any propofol was in the lower portion of this Y tubing and the syringe.
Correct. We found propofol, lidocaine, and flumazenil.
Okay, how much did you find?
We did not quantitate it.
Why wouldn't you quantitate it?
we will be asking the court to take judicial notice, Your Honor, of the previously discussed.
all right, at this point, we will defer that. The question is pending, and you may answer it.
One, we didn't feel it was relevant at that particular time. Two, we didn't exactly have a standard operating procedure to quantitate fluids from medical evidence as such.
So am I correct in assuming you cannot tell the proportion of lidocaine versus propofol in that solution?
No.
And
That's a double negative.
you cannot tell what proportion lidocaine versus propofol was in that lower line. Is that correct?
We cannot tell the proportions, no.
Okay. And you cannot tell what the proportions of lidocaine and propofol were in a syringe.
That's correct.
Now, in each of those items, I guess it's labeled up there as 159 and 158. The Y port and the syringe. They each have flumazenil. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, there was no flumazenil in the IV bag or the IV line.
That's correct.
Do you know how the flumazenil relates in proportion to the lidocaine and propofol?
Objection vague.
Do you understand it?
Yes, I can't.
Overruled. You may answer it.
I can't tell the proportions of any of the three drugs. with the analysis that we performed.
In the syringe, there was a limited amount of solution. I believe you testified 0.17 grams.
.17 grams, you're correct.
And so was that a complicating factor in determining the proportion?
No, it's certainly a limiting factor. It's a very small amount. We're talking 4 drops.
That would make it difficult to determine what the proportions were.
Of drug in that solution, yes.
Okay, now, with respect to item number 158, below the Y port, there was no limited amount of fluid there, was there?
Objection B.
Do you understand it?
I do.
Overruled. You may answer.
The quantity of fluid, which it was 0.47 grams or mils, that was in the Y connector leading all the way through the short tubing.
That was plenty enough to analyze for proportions, wasn't it?
Quantity-wise, probably.
Okay. There was another medical evidence 1. That's a syringe. That's the syringe that Investigator Fleet found in the bedroom without a needle on it?
That's correct. The barrel and the needle were separated.
Well, all we had was the barrel of a syringe. Is that correct?
Actually, we had the barrel as well as we had a needle. It came as 2 parts.
I think Ms. Fleek changed her mind on that, Chair.
Objection argumentative, Your Honor.
The objection is sustained.
And this witness did not go to the crime scene.
Thank you. I'm sustaining the objection. Ask the question, please.
Your records indicate that the needle and the barrel were separate?
The notations that I'm taking a look at right now, barrel with plunger and needle with cap.
So that, your records indicate that barrel and plunger had a needle with them?
Yes.
Flanagan, you let me know when it's convenient. I don't want to interrupt your flow, but give me an idea.
This is fine.
Is it all right?
Yeah.
May I see counsel for just a moment? Can we turn on the lights, please?